Good morning, everybody. Eric Lofholm here. Thrilled to be with all of you here this morning. And we have a great call today. And every once in a while, I bring on a very special guest to share their wisdom with all of us. And today, I have the great pleasure of introducing Mark Tosoni. I've known Mark for many years. He is an entrepreneur, an author, a real estate investor, a speaker, a coach. He is happily married, father of 5 amazing kids. And Mark's current project, he's an operating partner in a solar company that went from 5 employees to 200 employees in less than 4 years. Revenue went from 800,000 to over 50 million. And the company recently made the Inc. 5000 as number 14 in the nation. Mark, I'm thrilled that you're here today, and I'm going to turn the call over to you to share some of your words of encouragement with our audience.
Well, thank you, Eric, and I'm thrilled to be here as well. For starters, I believe that every salesperson inside of them has what I like to call a crusade. In addition to that, I believe every salesperson needs a coach. And I further believe that every salesperson has the capacity and the possibility and the potential to be completely walk away financially independent, all from a foundation of sales. Going back to my story, my first love of sales was in the alarm systems business. And I'm going to tell you a little bit of a sad story, but it has a very happy point to it for you. I got into the alarm business to make money, admittedly. When I saw the model of the alarm business, I was like, wow, I can make a lot of money doing this. And I was in the business for about a month. This is back in 1992. And there was a fire that took place in a small town in Massachusetts. The mom was a third shift nurse and dad was staying home with the kids that night. So mom kissed the kids goodbye and she went off to work. Well, somewhere in the middle of the night, there was an electrically based fire. And if you know anything about fires, electrically based fires, sometimes they're brewing in the walls. And this fire started to gain momentum. And a long story short, dad got up. He became aware of the fire and he tried to get his little 3-year-old out and his little 2-year-old out. Well, by the time the fire department got there, dad was passed out. They started kicking doors and windows in. And they got the father out onto the sidewalk and they started their revival efforts. Think about this for a moment. If you're married or if you have kids, mom is a third shift nurse. She's working. She has no clue that her baby's lives are in jeopardy. So they get dad on the sidewalk, they get him revived. And if you're a father, as I am, I don't know if you are, but what would be your first thought? It would probably be something like, where are my kids? What's going on with my kids when you came to? And lo and behold, the little 3-year-old and the little 2-year-old did not make it. And so it was from this fire and these people's nephew who literally came to work in my company 6 months later. And so I got the inside track on this fire. And here is the happy point. You must find your crusade. If you want to be happy, if you want to be successful in the sales business, you've got to find that crusade. And that's really what the point of the story is. From there, I went on to make millions and millions of dollars in the alarm systems business because I was never the same again after that event took place. And I went on to do the business for 24 years. And that business provided me the income to build a life of complete walk away financial independence because I took the profits and I invested in real estate, which I'm going to talk to you here about in a moment. So the first point I want to make to you is the purpose of sales. Why are we in sales to begin with? From my perspective, it's to serve, it's to solve, and then it's to sell. What does it mean to serve? We're not talking about what Jesus did in washing people's feet. What we're talking about is finding what their problems are and helping them to see the problems. And this has got to become a great obsession when you are in, whether it be in the house or you're selling over the phone or you're doing door to door or B2B, in whatever capacity you're selling, you've got to get completely obsessed with serving and solving. And so I draw this distinction because I want you to be very clear about the purpose of sales and the purpose of your career. The purpose of your career is different. The purpose of your career is to make money in excess of your expenses. So if your expenses are $5,000 a month, it is the purpose of your career to make 10, 15, 20, 50, 100,000 a month, to make way more than your expenses by miles. And then what you do is you take that overage and you invest it. And once you invest it, the goal is to get your residual income. So you really are in the converting money game. You're converting money from commission to residual. And the name of the game is to get the residual to exceed your expenses. Once you get the residual to exceed your expenses, it's game over. And I always like to tell people, rinse and repeat if you choose. And I chose to rinse and repeat. I'm 56 years old. I'm still rinsing and repeating because I enjoy working. I don't want to sit around all day doing absolutely nothing. And my wife would probably go crazy if I did that. So I don't do that. So you rinse and repeat if you choose. So it's very important to understand the purpose of sales versus the purpose of your career. When you are with a customer, the purpose of your career is on the shelf. The only purpose you're focused on, and this is the problem that salespeople have, is because they get that, I like to call it blood on their fangs. And as soon as the customer knows that your motive is to close them, your motive should be to serve them. How can I serve? How can I solve your problems? I would love to be the guy to solve your problems if we can come together on this. But at the end of the day, don't make that assumption. You've got to come in there with a crusade, loving the problem that you solve, loving the result you produce. So let me share this with you. There's 4 pillars. I'm going to give you 4 pillars that you can completely pour your heart into. And these pillars will guarantee, if you pour your heart into these 4 pillars, that you will become financially independent and a multi-millionaire. And so pillar number 1 in the sales game is that you've got to rewire your mind. So you want to rewire your mind, but you also got to reset your heart. And one of the things I love the best about the sales game is sales is a chronic mirror. It makes you look at the things in your life that really require changing. And if you take your career and you really listen, if you listen to what most people will never hear, you will make changes within yourself. And you will go from an 8-ounce cup to a 20-ounce big gulp. And when you do that, when you go from an 8-ounce cup to a 20-ounce big gulp, guess what? You can contain a whole lot more because your container just expanded. So you've got to work on up-leveling and rewiring your mind. And what does that mean? That means your belief system. We all have, I don't like this conversation about negative thinking and negative beliefs. I don't believe in negative thinking. I believe neurology states that the way you think is either protective or expansive. And so what most people judge and label as negative is your own neurology trying to protect you. I can tell you this in the rewiring process, do not go to war with your own mind because you will lose that battle. Your brain's job is to merely protect you. So when you become aware and you identify that you have a protective belief, what most people are calling negative, what you want to do, or negative thought, a protective thought, you want to start to rewire that and up-level it. What would I have to think instead in order to get to where I really want to go? What would I have to think instead to become a financially independent multimillionaire? What would I have to think instead to become an 80% closer instead of a 20% closer? What would I have to think instead to serve 300 people this year instead of 100 people this year? So be aware that there's this thing going on in your mind that requires rewiring. And if you pour your heart into rewiring your mind. And if you work on resetting your heart, what do I mean by resetting your heart? I'm talking about forgiveness and letting things go. Nothing will block your money and your flow like anger, sadness, fear, guilt, and shame. Anger, sadness, fear, guilt, and shame make money move away. So when you rewire all that and you reset your heart around anger, fear, sadness, guilt, and shame, money will start to come towards you. Deals will come towards you. Okay, the second thing I want to give you to pour your heart into, and this is a real thing, and I know I got to move quick here, is to eliminate sabotage. Most people do not realize sabotage is a thing because they just haven't done the research yet and they don't know how it works. If you look at the root word of sabotage, you come up with this word saboteur. And the word saboteur only means to slow down. So sabotage, really, we think it's destroying ourselves. It's not. Once again, it's neurology. So you want to work on eliminating sabotage in your life because your neurology will try to slow you down. When I was in that alarm business, I became a millionaire at 28 years old. And do you know the very next year, I lost it all. So my skill set, my burning desire, it got me to the dance, but I couldn't stay there because my brain did not feel comfortable with residual income. I hadn't yet rewired myself for residual income. Today, I am completely wired, and I would invite you to do the same for income. I'm wired and rewired for residual income. I'm wired and rewired for passive income. I'm wired and rewired, and I'd invite you to do the same for net worth growth. And I'm wired and rewired to pay as little in taxes as humanly possible and legally available. So you want to work on eliminating sabotage and understand you've got this little thing in your brain called an amygdala that's going to try to pull you back. You don't fight with it. You work with it. You become aware of it. You develop a relationship with it. So number one, you're going to focus on rewiring. Number two, eliminating sabotage. Number three, here is Eric Lofholm. Develop a ridiculous sales skill set. You develop a ridiculous skill set so you are so good at it that you can literally do deals at the 80, 90, and 100% range. My mentor, my original mentor, and I love this man, but he didn't do the right thing with the money he made. And he would tell you this, but he's out still at 61 years old, closing sales, closes in the 90% range. But the reason he's out closing sales is because he didn't do the right things with the money. So you want to make sure, this is why when I say eliminate sabotage, it's a thing. You want to develop this ridiculous skill set, but you can't, it's not enough to just to develop a ridiculous skill set. That will get you far, that will get you money, but that doesn't guarantee you become financially independent. So you got to work with all three of these pillars. And then I'm going to give you one more pillar because it looks like I have 2 more minutes here. When you master those 3 pillars, the 4th pillar would be to learn to invest. Now, I'm not here to tell you what to invest in, but I will tell you that the purpose of my career is to make money and buy apartments. This is what I do. It's a 1-2, boom, boom. I don't do crypto. I don't do this. I don't do that. I just simply make money, buy real estate. And I have followed that pattern over and over and over again. And that has resulted in me becoming a high net worth, multi, and a lot more multis as a result of that. Just that 1-2 punch. So I'm here to tell you, I went from the story I told you earlier was when I started selling alarms at 25 years old. 5 years before that, I started selling cars. I went from car salesman to financially independent multimillionaire, and you can too. I believe that you have the capacity within you to become a financially independent, multi past deca millionaire if you will work on the 4 things I just said. Rewiring your mind, resetting your heart, eliminating sabotage, building a ridiculous skill set, and and learning to become an investor. I'll leave you with this story. This is a story about John the salesman. John goes out to run an appointment in the country, and he gets to the appointment, and this guy's sitting on the porch drinking his lemonade. And John waves at him and says, hi. In my company, we call that the good guy wave. He gives him a wave and says, how you doing? And the guy says, come on over. And John walks over there, and there's a dog sitting next to him on the porch. And so John's petting the dog. Hey, what's the dog's name? Rufus. And so they're talking, and he's doing his little warm up, and he notices that Rufus is whining a little. So he says to the homeowner, he's like, what's going on with Rufus? He's like, it looks like he's in pain or something. Is he okay? And a long story short, the owner of the home says, oh, don't worry about it. Rufus he likes to lie down. That's his favorite spot. And underneath the floorboard, there's a nail that sticks up. And so when he goes in his favorite spot, the nail hurts him. And the salesman's like, well, can I move him? Can I help get him out of pain here? And the homeowner's like, don't worry about Rufus. When he's had enough pain, he'll finally move. And so my final invitation for you folks is don't wait till you've had enough pain. Make a conscious choice to create your career into the masterpiece that it could be, it should be, and it will be if you make the decision consciously versus waiting for the pain to move you. Eric, back to you, my friend.
Awesome. Let's give Mark some Zoom love. That was an amazing, amazing training. I'm going to go back and guys, I'm going to listen to the recording of this 7 times. There was some tremendous golden nuggets shared. If any of you want to join me in listening to the recording, the website is csidailypodcast.com, www.csidailypodcast.com. That's where you guys can find the recording. Tremendous golden nuggets from somebody who is, he's leading by example. He's not talking about what he read in a book. He's talking about what he's living to create the life of his dreams in multiple areas of his life. So Mark, tremendous message. I'm going to be reaching back out to you, and I'm going to close you on coming back again because that was awesome. Love to have you back and share some more time. 15 minutes goes super fast. But you did an amazing job giving great value to me and to all of my listeners. So thank you so much for that great message.
Thank you for having me, Eric. Thank you all. Bye-bye.
All right, guys, let's all go out and have a great day. We'll talk to you guys later. Bye-bye.